Hi everyone, this is Sean from WorldCupNow.com. I would just like to thank you. I've had unprecedented support and participation this year in this league. Um, I think we're upwards of 218 people now in the league, and it's a big, big jump from last year. And I just want to say before the start of the season that I appreciate all your support, and it's going to be good. It's going to be a good league, and I look forward to hearing all your comments and your trash talking. A little bit of lip goes a long way, keeps you in check. So this will be good. We'll get into some tips. Take a look at my team. The majority of it's going to probably be posted on the website in terms of who I have and the decision and reasoning behind that. And yeah, we'll go from there. So I'll get into it, and we'll switch screens, and we'll go from there. So I'll see you on the flip side. One sec. Okay, so just flip the screen here and getting into it. Now you'll see on the screen here, if you read the actual title, you see that it says that it's Game Week for Fantasy, Game Week 1, pardon me, of 2012-2013. Now, I always like to give good tips, but without knowing who's going to be starting, who's actually performing well, having any statistics to base any or try and gauge any type of educated decision is a little bit hard to do right now. And I think a lot of fantasy managers, yourself included, are in the boat where you just have to kind of guess, place your bets, and then see how it goes. Most managers are given it about 3 weeks to kind of see who's going to be playing where and what kind of team they're going to have, based on who they have in their selection, their formation, and whether they're going to have a more defensive or offensive approach in terms of their team. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this up for Game Week 1 of 2013 and 2012-2013 of last season is because when you look back at who you initially picked, you can kind of get an idea of what your team's going to look like at the end of the season compared to at the beginning of the season. So if we take a look here, I'll just get this expanded. This was my team going into Game Week 1 of last year. So you can see that it's a different formation, 3-3, a 4-3-3. So I was obviously defensive minded, hoping for some clean sheets. But there's some similarities even to this season. Thinking that taking advantage of the Chelsea double game week, which I'm doing too, with Hazard, but instead of using Cole, I'm actually using Ivanovic this year. A lot of people are betting that Kagawa is going to have a good season as well. He's going to break out. Aguero, he won the title. I think he had a lot of points the season prior, which is the reasoning as to why I picked him up at the beginning of this season. He was a 100-plus point striker, but there was other people more than him. And then if you look at Williams, Brogniak, Vaste, you can see that there was a lot of guesswork involved. Even looking at the bench, Gutierrez, Walker, McLean, you're kind of gauging who you think is going to be good. You're going to have a lot of constraints in terms of money. That's why I posted about Van Persie and Bale, whether you have them in your team or not. As you can see on the post, on my team, I do have Van Persie, but I am going without Bale. We'll get into my team in a second. But, this is further to the point that I can't really give you guys concrete tips because there's no evidence. There's no everything that I'm saying is kind of hearsay. It's my opinion, and typically it normally is, but I normally have something to base that off of, which is statistics that are available to me. So, that being said, this is going to be my wager for Game Week 1. I'm going to go with, I did have a rotation lineup with defense, but I've kind of opted out of that. I am going to do it with my goalies, though. You can see that I have Jääskeläinen and Bork. Southampton and West Ham are going to have alternating home games, so I can always have a keeper in net. In terms of my defense, it is just kind of a little punt. I think Toure is going to be doing well at Liverpool until if they sign someone else. Mertesacker was a good player, high points last year, was just the reasoning. Has some relatively easy fixtures in the beginning, and then as I said, Ivanovic, high points, double game week, trying to take advantage of that ability of getting extra points. And it's a home and home, which is far not the best. Got Walcott. Not too sure how he did in. I think actually, let's just go check now. I think he actually scored, or at least got an assist in today's win. And this is another thing. Looking at international friendly games, it does give you evidence. You look at the 3-4 loss. US won, but look at this. And Dzeko, he's on my team, and he got 2 goals. And the league starts in less than 5 days. It's going to be starting on Saturday, so it's good to kind of keep an eye out on this. So let's see. I thought I saw. Yep, Theo Walcott scored, and I think he even got an assist. If I'm not too wrong, nope, no assist. But then you got Cleverly, Welbeck, Gerrard, Lambert, who's another player that's on my list too to keep an eye out for, and then Leighton Baines. So there is evidence in the preseason as to what you might be able to expect in the actual game weeks once the actual league starts. Don't forget, it is a World Cup qualifying year, so as a manager you're gonna have to pay attention. So there's gonna be fake injuries, there might be real injuries, but you might have players rested because they're on international duty and they might not play. So I have a feeling that the bench is going to be very integral into having a solid team and actually doing well. So having a good bench and having players that come off the bench and actually play is going to be vital for your success this season. So I'll give you that tip or a heads up. But again, I feel like it's kind of getting drawn out a little bit. So I'm going to kind of summarize things here and just kind of go with your gut. There will be bandwagons that'll start throughout the season, and you will want to jump on them. If you catch them early, that's great. If you don't be afraid to drop someone for another player that's getting points, because that's what's going to matter. You can't get emotionally attached to these players. So I'm just going to close this. And unfortunately, well, good news, bad news. Good news for my buddy. I'm actually going down to Cuba to be in his wedding. So I'm actually going to be leaving this Sunday. After the games are played, we'll watch what games are. I think there's a game Monday and Wednesday. Yeah, so I'll see the City game and the Chelsea game on the beach in Cuba, having mojitos and probably a nice cigar, and then later celebrating their wedding on Thursday. So that means that I will not have a Game Week 2 video or post, just because the internet access down there is sketchy at best. So, and I'm going down to be on vacation, enjoy, and celebrate this wedding. So it's going to be good. I'm just going to give you a warning. If you're going to be looking for a Game Week 2 video, looking at the fixtures, the first 3, maybe even 6 game weeks, you're not really going to get a feel for things until later on, in Game Week 5 and 6. But position your team. Always keep in mind, home teams always play better defensively, and just kind of keep an eye out for who you have on your watch list. When you're watching games, watch players off the ball and how they act, and whether they get in open positions, and whether they're opening themselves up to get points. Two side notes. I'm going to get back. They have goal line technology this year, which will be interesting to see. I'm pretty sure that there's only 2% of the actual all goals scored that would have to be reviewed, but still could raise up a little controversy or settle some controversy. And then secondly is also keep in mind about the new bonus point structure. It's going to be it's going to really come into effect in games where there's no scoring, where it's a 0-0 score, because then it's going to be based on passes completed, tackles. So it's going to really open up the point schematic system to players who don't normally get a lot of points. Like if midfielders that are always completing passes, they have a good pass completion rate, but they might not score. They might be the third person part of the play, so they're not getting the assist, but they had an integral part in actually setting up that goal. So it'll be interesting to see. The BPL or the Premier League, they did a really good post on that for the scout. It's right here if you're following along with me. So if you want to read through that and take a look, but it'll be very interesting to see. And like I said, it's going to really affect games where there's no score, because you can see that they really still value goals and assists. You're getting 4, 6, 8, and 3 points towards your overall bonus point total system. So have a review through there. Keep that in mind when you're picking your players, because you want to have people who are setting up chances. But again, since I'm going to be away, I'll wish you good luck for 2 weeks in a row. And really looking forward to getting this season started. You'll see me again, but it won't be for another couple weeks. So best of luck and good luck, and I'll see you when I return from Cuba, and I'll let you know how everything was.